Today is a very auspicious day, appearance day of Srila Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu. Our Gurudev wrote his biography Shri Radha Prema Rupa Ya Pura Vrindavaneshwari Sa Shri Gadadharo Gaura Ballabha Panditakhyakah Nirnitah Shri Swarupair Yo Vraja Lakshmitayatha Pura Vrindavane Lakshmi Shama Sundara Ballabha Sadhya Gaura Prema Lakshmi Shri Gadadhara Pandita Radham Anugata Yat Tal Lalitapi Anuradhika Atah Pravishat Esha Tam Gaura Chandrodaya Yatha. The avatar of love, who was previously the queen of Vrindavan, Radha, is now the beloved of Gaura named Shri Gadadhar Pandit. Swarup Damodar Goswami himself indicated that Gadadhar was Braja's goddess of fortune, the Lakshmi, who was previously the beloved of Shama Sundar in Vrindavan. She has today become the goddess of fortune and love for Gaura and is known as Shri Gadadhar Pandit. Lalita, who is also known as Anuradha, is Radha's closest friend and confidant. She has also entered into Gadadhar, as was shown in the play Chaitanya Chandrodaya. This is from Gaur Ganadesh Deepika. Gadadhar Pandit Adi Prabhur Nijo Shakti Tasavar Charanamor Sahasra Pranati. Gadadhar Pandit and others are the Lord's own energies. I pay thousands of obeisances to their feet. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in 6 features, namely as the 2 types of Guru, that is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, the devotees of the Lord himself, his avatar, his expansion, and his energy. According to the principle of simultaneous oneness and difference, they are all identified with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. This is from the commentary of Prabhupada to Chaitanya Charitamrita. She who was Radha in Krishna's pastimes became Shri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami in Gaur Lila. When Gaur manifests his identity with Narayan, his Shaktis are his wives, Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya. When identifying with Krishna, his Shakti is Shri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. That is in awe and reverence, and this is in sweetness, intimacy. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavatarang Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. I offer my obeisances to Krishna, who appears in 5 features: as a devotee, as the expansion of a devotee, as an avatar of a devotee, as the pure devotee, and as the devotional energy. These 5 features all appeared with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his avatar, and in their association he joyfully performed the congregational chanting of the holy names. Though he appears in these 5 forms, there is in fact no difference between them. They are all transcendental. The distinctions arise due to his desire to relish different devotional flavors, means rasas. Shri Gaurango, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Pandit, etc. make up the Panchatattva. and there is spiritually no difference between them. The Supreme Truth has unlimited pastimes in order to relish the different tastes of transcendental relationship, and thus he separates into these 5 forms as the form of devotee, that is Mahaprabhu, the devotional manifestation, that is Bhakta Sarup, that is Nityananda Prabhu, the devotional avatar, that is Advaita Acharya, Mahavishnu or Sadashi, the devotional energy, that is Gadadhar, and the pure devotee, that is Narad or Shrivas Pandit. Jai Jai Nityananda Gadadhar Jibon, Jai Jai Advaitadi Bhaktir Sharan. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. All glories to the life of Nityananda Prabhu and Gadadhar. All glories to the shelter of all the devotees headed by Advaita. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur comments on words, the life of Gadadhar, as follows. Gadadhar Jivon. Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami is chief amongst the most intimate devotees of Sri Chaitanya. He is the fountainhead of the entire Shakti Tattva and is thus present equally in Mahaprabhu's Leelas in Navadip and in Nilachal. His childhood home was in Navadip because Radharani Purna Shakti. Krishna is Purna Shaktiman, Radharani is Purna Shakti, fountainhead. All Shaktis are coming from Radha. His childhood home was in Navadip. Later he took Kshetra sannyas in Jagannath Puri and lived in a garden or tota by the seashore in Tota Gopinath. Pure devotees who wish to enter into Madhuras of Sri Radha Govinda take shelter of Gadadhar Pandit, and only then they will come to be known as Gauranga Mahaprabhu's intimate devotees. Those devotees who are not so inclined to the Madhuras take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu and engage in pure devotional service in other 4 rasas. Nityananda Prabhu has 2 functions. One is to attract fallen souls to the service of Krishna, and then he will, according to their adhikar, he will recommend to that particular devotee. No one can get the service of Radharani without the grace of Nityananda Prabhu. He has to recommend, send you there. And in another function, he is also engaged in training for those rasas, for other rasas, in his different forms. Some of Mahaprabhu's devotees, such as Narahari, were followers of Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. They took refuge in him because they knew him to be Mahaprabhu's dearest associate. Some devotees therefore call Chaitanya the life of Nityananda Prabhu, while others called him the life of Gadadhar. Gadadhar Pandit appeared in the village of Belati Gram in the Chittagong district of modern Bangladesh in 1487, on the dark moon day of the month of Vaishak today. His father was Madhava Mishra, a Varendra Brahman in the Kashyapa Gotra, and his mother was Ratnavati Devi. Our Gurudev said that this Madhava Mishra is one with Pundarik Vidyanidhi because Brishavanu. He also had a younger brother named Vaninath. The family lived in Belati Gram until Gadadhar was 12 and then moved to Navadip. Gadadhar Pandit was a brahmachari for his entire life. Gurudev said strict brahmachari. Indeed, his indifference to the pleasures of the world was such that Ishwar Puripat was very impressed when he visited Navadip. Ishwar Puri gave Gadadhar Pandit instruction in a book he had himself written, Krishna Lilamrita. While Mahaprabhu was delighting in his pastimes, this book, Krishna Lilamrita, is written by Ishwar Puripad. Once he said to Mahaprabhu, when Mahaprabhu was still playing the pastime of big scholar, he did not reveal at that time. So Ishwar Puri said, "You please correct my book." Then Mahaprabhu said, "There are no mistakes in the composition of pure devotee. Even if there are some grammatical mistakes or something is there, but that is not mistake, because the substance is they are writing for the satisfaction of Krishna. So in that there is no mistake. From worldly point of view, someone may say some grammatical mistake, but Krishna is not taking that. Krishna is seeing the love. So Mahaprabhu said, I will not correct your book. That is wrong. While Mahaprabhu was delighting in his pastimes as a student, there was no scholar in the town of Navadip who was unafraid of entering into debate with him. Mahaprabhu would defeat one's position and then show how the same position could be defended. Mukunda Datta, Srivas Pandit, and others who knew the joys of devotional sentiment were afraid of getting involved in such useless debates with Nimai Pandit, and so they would avoid him, because pure devotees, they don't want to waste time for this worldly name and fame. I know more than you, I'm better, and these things. They are not interested, they don't want to waste time with anything. Only they are constantly doing service of Krishna and getting that joy of devotion. When one gets joy of devotion, practically, he cannot have any other desire. It is impossible. We need association of such devotees. Our Gurudev told, if you will associate with worldly people, then you will be inclined to get what they are striving for, these worldly things. But if you will have association of devotee, then you will become inclined to serve Krishna. One day, Nimai Pandit saw Gadadhar Pandit and asked him to give the definition of liberation. Gadadhar Pandit answered according to the Nyaya school that liberation consisted in the final eradication of all miseries. Atyantika dukkha nibriti means full, complete. Removal of any dukkha means unhappiness. That is liberation. Nimai Pandit then proceeded to show how this definition was inadequate, because one verse is there in Bhagavatam, Sarupa Vyavastiti, that liberation, mukti, means when you are situated in your Sarup, that is in the service of Krishna. This is only negative side to remove unhappiness. The other devotees who were listening to him speak thought how wonderful it would be if such a brilliant scholar would only become a devotee. When Mahaprabhu returned from Goya, he began to reveal the transformations of divine love that amazed the devotees. Sriman Pandit was the first to see Mahaprabhu's ecstatic symptoms, and he reported what he had seen to all the other devotees, who were overjoyed at the news. When Mahaprabhu decided to reveal his true identity to the devotees, he told them to come to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari. Gadadhar Pandit was amongst those who went there, but remained discreet about his presence. He was a little hiding. When he saw Mahaprabhu become intoxicated with the power of the holy name, Gadadhar Pandit fainted. First he wanted to see whether it is true or not. We should not immediately, because many cheaters are there. So you have to see first. So when Gadadhar saw, then he believed it. And then he fainted. Mahaprabhu then said to him, Gadadhar, you have such good fortune. From your early childhood, your mind has been fixed on Krishna's lotus feet. Meanwhile, I have been wasting my life in useless activities. Despite obtaining the great treasure of a human birth, by my misfortune, I was able to make no use of it. Mahaprabhu is teaching the purpose of human life is this, because that is the only thing which can actually fulfill you. That is what we have to do, our natural activity, while in this world and also in Golok Vrindavan. That is the only thing which can make us happy. And it is your natural thing. Everything else is artificial. Subsequently, Gadadhar Pandit would calm Mahaprabhu whenever he was overly affected by his ecstasies. One day, Gadadhar Pandit said to Mahaprabhu, your Lord Krishna is hidden in your heart. As soon as he heard this, Mahaprabhu began to claw at his chest, but Gadadhar Pandit stopped him from doing so. When Sachi saw how clever Gadadhar Pandit was in handling her son, she asked him to always stay near Nimai to protect him. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Once Mahaprabhu suddenly started calling out the name of his dear associate Pundarik Vidyanidhi, saying, Pundarik my father, and crying. None of the devotees who were present knew Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who was formerly Radharani's father Vrishabhanu, and were thus unable to understand what the Lord meant. When they asked him, he glorified Pundarika Vidyanidhi and told them that he would shortly be coming to Navadip Mayapur. However, when Pundarik Vidyanidhi arrived in Navadip, no one recognized him because he disguised himself as a great sense enjoyer in order to mask his profound devotional feeling. Mukunda Datta and Vasudev Datta were former residents of Chittagong and knew Pundarik Vidyanidhi very well. One day, Mukunda Datta told Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami that he wanted to introduce him to a very advanced Vaishnava and took him to Pundarik Vidyanidhi's house. Mukunda introduced the two of them, and Vidyanidhi happily engaged Gadadhar Pandit in conversation. Gadadhar Pandit, however, who had been indifferent to sensual pleasures since he was very young, could not help doubting Pundarik Vidyanidhi when he saw the expensive furnishing by which he was surrounded, from the fine silk sheets as white as milk foam, to the perfumes in the air, to the pan betel he was chewing. This is really fortune. Mahaprabhu told to Gadadhar, you have such good fortune. From your birth, you are not interested in these worldly enjoyments, but your mind was fixed on Krishna. This is really fortune. Mukunda saw the doubt written on Gadadhar Pandit's face and decided to reveal Pundarik Vidyanidhi's true devotional nature to him. He recited the following two verses in glorification of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho Bhakyam Stana Kalakutam Jigham Sa Yapayayat Apyasadvi Lebe Gatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kam Vadoyalum Sharanam Brajema. How truly amazing! The sister of Bakasur, the evil Putana, was sent on a mission to kill Krishna. Despite her evil intentions, he drank the Kalakuta poison that was mixed with her breast milk and awarded her the position of a wet nurse. As Ambika and Kilimba in Goloka, like them, not that Putana became Ambika and Kilimba, but like them, that kind of service she got. Ambika, we were hearing, Ambika is, I think, Malini, and Kilimba is maybe Narayani or something we were hearing. Yes, I think Narayani. Is there anyone else I can take shelter of who is more merciful than this Krishna? Who is more merciful? So I will take shelter of Krishna. Even she came with evil motive, but he blessed her. Because she is the, I forgot, I think sister of Bali Maharaj. When she saw how beautiful Bamandev is, she desired to have him as a son. But when she saw that how Bamandev bound Bali Maharaj, then she became angry and she had this desire to kill him by poisoning. So Krishna fulfilled her desire. She came to poison him, but at the same time that motherly affection. So he awarded her that, means that fulfilled that desire and awarded her that service in Goloka. I don't remember, I think sister or someone related to Bali Maharaj. Second verse is Putana Loka Balagni Rakshasi Rudirashana Jigam Sa Yapi Hare Stanam Datvapa Sadgatim. Putana was always hankering for the blood of human children, and with that desire she came to kill Krishna. But because she offered her breast to the Lord, she attained the greatest achievement. Srimad Bhagavatam. The instant that Pundarik Bidanidhi heard these verses, he began to cry, Ha Krishna, and fell to the ground in a faint. Extraordinary ecstatic symptoms began to show on his body. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was amazed to see this reaction and began to regret the offensive thoughts he had been having just moments before. Later, Mahaprabhu advised Gadadhar Pandit that the best way to become free of this offense was to ask Pundarik Bidanidhi for initiation. So this is how Gadadhar Pandit became his disciple. Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, so here by this lila, it was shown that one cannot recognize devotee only by external vision. Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, he cannot make any offense, but his teaching as conditioned souls this point. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was Mahaprabhu's constant companion. He participated in Mahaprabhu's water sports after the conversion of Jagai and Madai. He acted in the play about Krishna Lila in Chandrasekhar's house. He was playing the part of Gopi because he is Gopi. He observed the great epiphany Mahaprakash in Srivasangam. He was there when the Kaji was converted And when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he accompanied Mahaprabhu to Puri, where he joined him in cleaning the Gundicha temple and then bathing in Narendra Sarovar and in so many other pastimes. At Chandrasekharacharya's house, in the first act of the play about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan that Mahaprabhu staged, Haridas Thakur played the part of the village constable, Srivas Pandit played Narad Muni, and Mahaprabhu played Rukmini. In the second act, Gadadhar Pandit also dressed as a woman, at which time Mahaprabhu said, Gadadhar is a part of my Vaikuntha family, the transcendental realm. Afterward, Mahaprabhu dressed as the primal energy and gave joy to everyone in the form of the Mother of the universe. The devotees too glorified him with hymns addressed to the Divine Mother. Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami went to live in Puri as a Kshetra sannyasi. Mahaprabhu gave him the service of Tota Gopinath Diti and told him to live in the Yameshwar Tota, or garden adjoining the Yameshwar Shiva temple. Gadadhar Pandit was thinking that Mahaprabhu will stay in Puri because mother told, Sachi mother told, you should stay in Puri. So Gadadhar thought, I will take Kshetra Sannyas so that I can always remain with Mahaprabhu. That was his purpose. As later we will hear that he abandoned that Kshetra Sannyas because his purpose was not to remain in Puri. His point was to remain with Mahaprabhu. So on one occasion, that Tota Gopinath, you know that Gopinath is sitting Diti because Pujari became very old and could not offer that garland because he was hunchback. And then out of compassion, Krishna sat down. Gadadhar, when he gave, then he's sitting there, Gopinath. So on one occasion, when Gadadhar Pandit heard that Nityananda Prabhu had come to Puri, he invited him to come and take Tota Gopinath's prasad. Nityananda Prabhu accepted his invitation and brought some fine rice from Bengal as an offering for Gopinath. Gadadhar Pandit cooked the rice along with leaves and vegetables from the Yameshwar garden. When he was offering the foodstuffs to the deity, Mahaprabhu also appeared there, giving him great pleasure. Because Mahaprabhu is omniscient, he knew what is going on, so he also came. The three of them joyfully took prasad together. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat. When Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan, Ramananda Rai and Sarvam Bhattacharya used all the means at their disposal to make him stay in Puri. On the third Chaturmasya after his departure from Navadip, all the Bengali devotees came to Puri with their wives to see them, to see him. After the Gundicha temple cleaning and the Ratha Yatra, the devotees returned home. As they were leaving, the devotees from Kulin village asked Mahaprabhu to describe the characteristics of a devotee. Mahaprabhu then described the differences between a Vaishnava, a more advanced Vaishnava, and the most advanced Vaishnava. He said, one who once purely chants Krishna Nam, oh Krishna, with relation, with faith. He is Kanishta Vaishnava. One who is constantly chanting Harinam. He already crossed that Anartha Nibriti. He is constantly chanting Krishna Nam. He is Madhyamadikari. And one in whose presence others become inclined to take the name, he is Uttamadikari. When Mahaprabhu showed even more determination to go to Vrindavan, the devotees finally gave him permission to leave after Vijayadashami. King Prataparudra gave a great deal of official help to smooth his journey. When Mahaprabhu crossed the Chitrotpala river to leave Puri, Raya Ramananda, Mangalaraj, and Hari Chandan continued on in his company. Because of his Kshetra sannyas, Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was not permitted to go any further. He was unable to tolerate the idea of separation from the Lord, however, and wanted to continue on with him. Mahaprabhu had to remind him of his vow to remain in Jagannath Puri and forbade him to go onwards to Braja. Gadadhar Pandit retorted, "To hell with my vows to remain in Puri. As far as I am concerned, Jagannath Puri is wherever you are." That his purpose was to be with Mahaprabhu. And this is also true because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Jagannath, moving Jagannath. So wherever he is, that is Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu insisted and told Gadadhar Pandit not to abandon his service to Gopinath. This is your responsibility. Gadadhar Pandit stubbornly argued, "Just seeing your lotus feet is worth 1,000,000 times more than any service to Gopinath." Because deity worship is, as a rule, you have to, if you install deity, then you have to worship according to scripture injunctions. If you do not, regularly you have to worship. If you do not, it is offense. But here, so the Gadadhar said, seeing your lotus feet is worth more than. When Mahaprabhu said, "If you abandon your duties to Gopinath, then it will be considered my fault," Gadadhar said, "No, I will take all the responsibility for any offense, for abandoning the service to Gopinath and for breaking the vow of Kshetra Sannyas. It will not be your fault, it will be my fault. I am taking that. I will be going alone without disturbing you. I am going to Bengal to see Sachimata. I am not going with you, I am going to Bengal." Other than Mahaprabhu's intimate associates, no one will be able to understand the extent of Gadadhar Prabhu's devotion to Gauranga. Love on the path of spontaneous devotion is not easy to comprehend. Gadadhar Pandit was ready to abandon his vows, his service, everything for the sake of Mahaprabhu. Like the gopis, they abandoned their husbands and Shastra's injunctions. The ladies will go in the night out, and that people will criticize all these things. They did not care about that. They only cared about service of Krishna. That is Raga Marg, not by any rules and regulations, but that. And they, by abandoning all those so-called religious duties and everything, they did not deviate from dharma, because they were, ultimate dharma is service of Krishna. Sarva dharma paritaja mamekam sharanam. So they did this. So here also Gadadhar, who is Radharani, he also gave up all other, these kshetra sannyas, service to deity, everything, for the sake of Mahaprabhu. He was ready for his service. When Mahaprabhu's party arrived at Kotok, 100 kilometers north of Puri, Mahaprabhu called Gadadhar Pandit and said, "You have realized your objective to break your vows and leave your service. But there is no fault here, like in the gopis, because for higher service, they are doing this. So already you did. If you come with me, that will make you happy. But do you want your own happiness or mine? It will make me unhappy if your vows to remain in Puri and to serve Gopinath are broken. If you want my happiness, return to Puri. That is all I have to say. When he heard Mahaprabhu's words, Gadadhar Pandit fell to the ground and fainted. By the order of Mahaprabhu, Saramam Bhattacharya comforted Gadadhar Pandit and accompanied him back to Puri. So here it was shown that really Gadadhar Pandit, his only target is happiness of Mahaprabhu, nothing else. So he did that also for Mahaprabhu, and now again he went back for the happiness of Mahaprabhu. That is in Raga Marg. We cannot understand unless we come on that platform. Even following Vaidhi Bhakti is not easy. That duty, we have our duty to Supreme Lord. He is our eternal master, our duty. We want to enjoy this world, exploit, that is aversion to Krishna. But that is wrong, and it will give suffering. And to accept the Vaidhi Bhakti is first step. And it is also not easy to maintain that, but if one will follow Vaidhi Bhakti, then when his heart will become pure, then he will be qualified to enter into Raga Marg. That is more intense. Due to her submissiveness and simplicity, Krishna's wife Rukmini was not always able to understand his joking words and would become frightened. Like her, Gadadhar Pandit was also unable to always understand Mahaprabhu's witticisms or his feigned indifference, all of which would cause him anxiety. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was by nature simple and pleasant. On one occasion when Ballabhata came to see Mahaprabhu, he saw that Ballabhata was proud of his scholarship and ridiculed him. Mahaprabhu pointed out flaws in his philosophical understanding and ignored him. Ballabhata responded to Mahaprabhu's indifference by starting to visit Gadadhar Pandit and making a show of attachment to him. Mahaprabhu did not particularly like Gadadhar Pandit's relation with Ballabhata and began to demonstrate a certain coolness toward him also. This behavior made Gadadhar Pandit fear that Mahaprabhu would ostracize him, and so he came and fell at Lord's feet and started to cry. Mahaprabhu laughed and embraced Gadadhar Pandit. He said, "I wanted to tease you, but you were not flustered. You said nothing in anger, but patiently bore everything. Your mind was not agitated by my tricks. By remaining fixed in your simple nature, you have purchased me." No one can fully describe the nature of Gadadhar Pandit's ecstatic love. Mahaprabhu has thus been given the name Gadadhar Prananath, Gadadhar's life and soul. No one can describe the Lord's mercy toward Gadadhar Pandit. Thus people sing their names together, Gadai Gaurango. Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained that Mahaprabhu stole Radha Bhav from Radharani and her luster. So Gadadhar Pandit, he also appeared in Gaur Lila. Radharani appeared, but that was stolen from her. So he was like Rukmini, very submissive. Radharani, her mood is Bhamya Bhav, not submissive. Bamya means left. Right wing gopis, they are submissive. But Radharani is Bamya Bhav and always inspired by Lalita to be Bamya Bhav. And in Dwaraka, Satyabhama is Bamya, always quarreling. But Rukmini is very submissive. So here Mahaprabhu showed this. Now Radharani is like Rukmini, Bamya, means Dakshina, right wing, very submissive. So Gadadhar tolerated everything. Sri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami remained on this earth only 11 months after Mahaprabhu's disappearance. In Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Chakravarti has described the terrible suffering of Gadadhar Pandit in Mahaprabhu's separation. He remained alive only in order to be able to see Srinivas Acharya. Because Srinivas Acharya, we heard he was roaming in India after Mahaprabhu but could not. No, that was Lokana. Srinivas Acharya wanted to get darshan of Mahaprabhu and was going towards Puri, but was unable to come in time. Mahaprabhu already disappeared. So Mahaprabhu ordered Gadadhar Pandit to stay and bless him and teach him Bhagavatam. So here, as he repeated the name of Gaurasundar, Gadadhar, with his eyes closed, his sides were as hot as flames. No one but the Lord can know how Gadadhar Pandit suffered in his absence. His motionless body remained alive only so he could bestow his mercy on Srinivas Acharya. Bhakti Ratnakar. So he blessed him, Srinivas Acharya, and he taught him Bhagavatam. But he said to Srinivas Acharya to bring his own copy of Bhagavatam, because that Gadadhar Pandit's Bhagavatam was already, that letters were not visible anymore, because Gadadhar Pandit was always crying when reading, so that was removed. So he said, you bring your own copy. But we also heard from Chaitanya Bhagavat that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before, he was daily hearing from Gadadhar Pandit Goswami a recitation of Bhagavatam, and he would request him to speak about Dhruva Charit and Prahlad Charit. And Mahaprabhu was hearing 100 times, one after another. Again he wanted to hear. Gurudev told, because the glories of devotees are unlimited, they are never stale. And because he had to show by his own example that these topics are necessary for conditioned souls to hear, so that they can gradually become qualified to come to Vrindavan's service. You cannot jump, you have to go step by step. So in Dhruva and Prahlad, there are so many important teachings for conditioned souls, those with anarthas, how to come out, and that. So Gadadhar Pandit used to explain all these topics. Don't blame others. You should not have other desires. All this. So Gadadhar Pandit Goswami disappeared at Puri on the dark moon day of Jyeshta in 1456 of Shaka, that is 1535. So I will see if there it is written in Srinivasa Charta. 1 second. mentioned. Bir Hampir. Yes, in Puri, Srinivas met Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, the avatar of Mahaprabhu's pleasure potency, Hladini Shakti, and both of them were immersed in an ocean of ecstasy. Yes. Srinivas stayed in Puri for some time, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, and was enchanted. Gadadhar then told him to return to Gaura. And yesterday also we heard Gadadhar Pandit also played another pastime to teach conditioned souls. He was acting as spiritual master, so once he gave mantra to someone who was faithless. That is offense on the part of Guru. Should not do this for the sake of some other motives. So he himself lost connection with the mantra. So he understood his mistake and he came to Mahaprabhu and requested him, I did this offense, you please give me again mantra. Then Mahaprabhu said, according to Shastra, Diksha Guru can be only one. You already have your Diksha Guru, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, you have to take from him. Shiksha Guru can be many, but Diksha Guru is only one. Then Gadadhar said, yes, but he's not here, so you give me. Then Mahaprabhu said, no, you have to wait for him to come, and he will come here. So then Pundarik Vidyanidhi came and Gadadhar Pandit submitted himself to his Guru and begged for forgiveness. I did this mistake. Please give me mantra again. Then Pundarik Vidyanidhi gave again mantra. Yesterday we heard. So this teaching. And there is also one pranam mantra of Gadadhar Pandit. 1 second. I opened the wrong one. One second. Yes, Shri Gadadhar Pranam. Shri Hladini Swarupaya Gauranga Suhridecha Bhakta Shakti Swarupaya Gadadhara Namostute. Gadadhar Pandit is the manifestation of the blissful potency of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and the closest bosom friend of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I bow down to Gadadhar, who is the embodiment of the devotional potency. So today is his appearance day. I am remembering his forum there in our Mayapur mat. Our Parangurudev installed Panchatattva. There Gadadhar is standing on the Mahaprabhu's left from his side. Mahaprabhu's left side is Gadadhar, that is Radharani, like Radha Krishna. Nityananda or Balaram is his right side. From our vision is opposite. So I am remembering Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu and bowing down to his lotus feet and praying that to forgive for all offenses which I may have committed to his lotus feet, knowingly or unknowingly, and to bestow his causeless mercy, that is the service of his lotus feet and the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You will also find in Champahati, there is Gaur Gadadhar. That mat was gotten by Prabhupada. It is from Baninath, a long time before he installed. But Prabhupada got it, and also in Godrundvip, in Bhajan Kutir of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Gadadhar are there, and we are singing daily. Bhale Gaura Gadadharer Arati Ne Hari, Nadia Puraba Bhave Jao Boli Hari. Kalpa Tarutala Ratna Singhasana Pari, Sobu Sakhi Beshtita Kishora Kishori. That song. When Mahaprabhu is as Narayan, then his Shaktis are Gaur, Vishnu Priya. Gaur, that Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya. But when he is as Krishna, then his potency is Gadadhar Pandit. That is Radha Madhav Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So those who are worshipping in Madhurya Rasa, they are worshipping Gaur Gadadhar. So we have to sing that Gadai Gauranga. Tomorrow we'll hear further.